In this video, I'll showcase that coding can be straightforward and accessible. The focus will be creating a simple HTML page without worrying about styling, to make the point that anyone can start coding. The best part, no coding experience required and there is no need for any special software. All you need is your web browser. We'll start by demystifying the language of the web and understanding the essential ingredients that make up a web page. Then we'll look into HTML. HTML provides the backbone that structures every web page you visit. We won't delve into complex tech jargon. Instead, we'll unpack HTML in simple terms. You'll discover how it instructs your browser to display information, essentially turning lines of code into web pages you see on your screen. Along the way, we'll learn the concept of a code editor. A code editor is your playground for crafting and refining your code, where your ideas come to life. We'll introduce you to one of the most user-friendly editors out there, and you'll use it online, so you don't have to worry about any installations. By the end of this tutorial, you will have created a simple web page. It might not be the most visually appealing or groundbreaking, but it will be your first step into the world of web development, and it will hopefully give you the confidence to continue learning. Web pages are made up of a few components or building blocks. The most basic of those components is HTML. This is true for every web page you visit, whether that's as minimalistic as Google, as comprehensive as Amazon, or as sophisticated as YouTube. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language, and it's used to structure a web page and its content. It's a language a developer uses to talk to the computer. HTML consists of a series of elements. Elements are content wrapped in HTML tags. As you can see here, we have a P opening tag and a P closing tag. Between them, we have the content hello world. All of this together, it constitutes an HTML element. I'm a firm believer that the best way to learn is to try yourself. So next, let's set up our code editor before we can start to build our first web page. To get started, open up your web browser. I'm using Google Chrome on a Mac, but you can use any browser you like, and you can use Windows as well. Everything will work the same. Go to this website, vscode.dev. VS Code is one of the most popular code editors out there. This is its online version, so we can get started quickly without having to install any additional software on your computer. Next, click on Open Folder. My folder does not exist as of yet, so I'm going to create it. I will name it Home Page, one word. Then click Create, and after that, I'll click Select. I get a pop-up here that says vscode.dev will be able to view files in home page until you close all tabs of this site. We then get a message that says, do you trust the authors of the files in this folder? We're going to go ahead and click yes, because we created the folder, so we are trusted. Next, click on this icon right here to create a new file. Name it index.html. Will be prompted to save changes to home page. Click Save Changes. And by the way, this is the only time you're gonna have to save changes. From now on, any change we make to the file, it gets saved automatically as we're typing. Next, let's go to the file system and open up the index.html file that we've just created in a web browser, preferably in the next tab next to VS Code, so that as we are developing, we can see the changes reflected. That's it. Our development environment is set up and we're ready to start coding. Let's go. We have our development environment ready, our HTML file open, and we're good to start developing our first page. Let's add our first HTML element, which is named HTML. To create an HTML element, we first need to create an opening tag, and we do that by typing the less than sign. Then we type HTML, then the greater than sign. And look at that. As I typed the greater than sign, VS Code automatically created the closing tag for us. It's smart enough to know that for each opening tag, there has to be a closing tag. So it does it for us. The HTML element is the root of the document, or as we call it, the top level element of an HTML document. And all other elements must be descendants of it. Let's look at the next element, the head element. Again, less than sign, we type head, greater than sign, and it's auto-completed for us. The head element contains machine-readable data, that is metadata. Metadata is data about the HTML document. We won't focus too much on the metadata, but I do want to show you one element under the head tag. We add title element. Let's title our document about James Bond. At this time, let's check our web page. It's still blank, but look at the browser tab here. This is where the title is displayed, about James Bond. Nice. Our page is coming together already. Let's move on to our next element, the body element. This is the content of the page. Everything you see in the page is enclosed within the body element, and there can only be one body element per HTML document, just like there can only be one head element per document. Let's add our first piece of content, a page header, and let's fill in James Bond. Now let's head over to our browser, refresh the page, and voila, we have a header. I want to mention that we have 6 levels of heading: H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, and H6. Let's see how they look like in the web page. Notice that this is similar to the different levels of headings you see in a Microsoft Word or Google Sheets document. We made our points, let's remove the extra headings. Now let's add information about James Bond. Right under the H element, add a P element. The P element represents a paragraph, usually blocks of text. I pasted this information about James Bond that you see here. Let's see how it looks in the web page. Wait a minute, we added 5 lines in the HTML document, but we only see 2 lines in the web page. What's happening here? It's the same information, just presented differently. Well, by default, text within a P element is considered continuous, and any line breaks we add in the HTML document are just there for our convenience, just to help us format the document better. The browser does not consider them as line breaks. That's why they are not shown in the page. To add line breaks in the page, we need a special type of element, the line break element. BR. Notice that unlike other HTML elements, the BR element does not need a closing tag. It closes itself. It's what's called a self-closing tag, which makes sense when you think about it. There isn't any content within it. It's just there to add a line break. Let's add line breaks before each of those lines, and let's refresh our page. Now our paragraph lines are formatted the way we intended. This is good information about Agent Bomb. But personally, I like information broken down in labels and values, so it's easy to get important information at a glance. Let's do just that. Let's start a new paragraph. First, I want to display Bond's name, and I want the word name to be a label. I want it to be bold. To do that, we use the strong element. The strong element indicates that its contents have strong importance, seriousness, or urgency. And by the way, this pop-up that I just read is another very useful feature of VS Code. Whenever you hover over an HTML tag, VS Code displays its definition and a link to MDN reference page. MDN is the Mozilla Developer Network, which is perhaps one of the best resources online to learn about HTML and everything web related. I highly recommend you give this a read. Now, let's refresh our page and we see that the word name and the colon sign are indeed bold. Similarly, let's break down additional pieces of Agent Bond's information. Let's refresh the page and there it is, nicely formatted lines of bio. Now let's add a line for the languages Agent Bond speaks. Refresh the page. This is nice, but instead of the languages separated by commas like this, I would like to be able to view them as a list. Let's see how we can do that. Let's add a UL element, an unordered list. As you can see from the definition, the UL element represents a list of items where the order of the items is not important. Inside of the UL element, you can see that I enclosed our languages between LI tags. And as you can see from the MDN definition, the LI element represents a list item. Now let's refresh our page and you can see that the languages are nicely listed as bullet points. Moving on, I would like to display Agent Bond skills in a list instead of a comma-separated item. This time, let's use something different though. Let's create an ordered list using an OL tag. MDN's definition reads, the OL element represents a list of items where the items have been intentionally ordered. Let's see how that looks. Refresh the page, and you see a beautiful numbered list. Now let's add that notorious James Bond quote, Bond. James Bond. Once again, let's refresh the page. Nice. Although, since this is a quote, wouldn't it be nice if we can display it in italic? We sure can, using the I element. I is, of course, for italic. Now refresh the page, and we see our quote is displayed in italic. Neat. Lastly, I want to include a link to a Wikipedia page of James Bond movies. And for that, we can use an anchor element. A. We assign the URL of the Wikipedia page to the href attribute, and when we refresh the page, it says here, for a full list, click here. And when we click the link, we are indeed redirected to a Wikipedia page with a list of James Bond movies. And with that, we wrap up our tutorial. I hope you followed along. If not, feel free to go back and rewatch the video at your own pace. In the video description, you'll find the link to the code of this page. Take a look, play around with it, or view it in your own browser. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you get notified when I post new videos. Thank you for watching.